It's your good girlfriend, CamiGREGG, and I'm speaking on the mic with you guys. So glad you decided to join us today. Please subscribe so you can get our episodes and don't miss out on any of our social wellness topics. Okay, so we're gonna dive in as usual today. I'm gonna need a drum roll for today's topic. In Grandma We Trust. So that's exactly what we're talking about today. Today we're going to talk about maturity and wisdom. So, this is what we're posing today. Does someone's age equal, or when they're up in age, or go to a level of age, I should say, does that equal the expectations of maturity or make them wise? You ever heard an older person say, "Child, just keep on living. You'll see. Just keep on living." Wait. So I want to know, am I not living now? What does this mean? This is giving the illusion that the older one gets, the expectations of life experiences make them wise. Okay, so I know I dive right in, but I got to hear from you guys. So I want to hear from you guys with responses and just questions. So I'm going to start diving out our email. Email us at CamiGREGG, so that's CamiGREGG40 at gmail.com. Also link with us at Twitter at CAMI_GREGG. And also we're on Instagram at CAMI.GREGG. I need your questions and feedback. Here's the question. As an individual ages into the older ages, does that automatically give them the crown of wisdom or the status of maturity? Okay, I gotta hear from you guys, but I'm gonna get back to the topic. So before we get into the meat of our subject, I want to define some words, okay? So I'm gonna start with maturity. So of course I'm getting on my good friend Google, and Google defines maturity as full development, determination of the period that an obligation has to run, perfected condition. I'm going to define the next word, age. Remember we talked about when we get up in age. So age is defined as the length of time during which a being or thing has existed, the length of life or existence to the time spoken of, a period of human life measured by years of birth. That's age. That's what age is. Lastly, we gotta define wisdom. What does wisdom mean? We hear that a lot. So wisdom is the quality or the state of being wise, the knowledge of what is true or right, coupled with just judgment as an action, discernment, insight, learning, and teaching precepts. These are really powerful. So we're going to have to look at these words. Okay, wisdom, maturity, age, and we're going to dissect this. We're going to bring this down. So I'm going to start with the W, just period, because we're looking at WMA. Yes, okay. So the W brings it all together. Okay, that wisdom. Why do we automatically give wisdom to our grandmothers? Because they have the grandmother status. Why do we trust that their age, defined as the length of time or life existence, remember, will provide a level of maturity or full development? That's why our topic is In Grandma We Trust. So let's look at the beloved grandma character. Let's look at that individual. So now a grandmother is the mother of one's father or mother. We know that, okay? This character is supposed to be loving and caring, and just being a grandparent alone gives us a terms of endearment. I'm going to go see my Mimi, my pop, my Nana, my Gigi, those big mama. Oh, my grandma's my heart. We automatically give them this term of endearment. Okay, Okay, a grandmother is considered warm. They prepare hot meals for us, or for yourself. They keep your secrets, or is that what is supposed to be depicted or perceived by us? Okay, let's go back here because we all become overwhelmed when we see a woman up in age, um, and let's yell out 60 to 70. We're going to put those age. If we see that individual at a nightclub dancing and twerking, 80% of the crowd's going to say, oh my God, she's somebody's grandmother. Or she could be. Man, she should know better. Or at what age does she need not to act like that? Well, she's very immature. All those words get tossed around. Even if you look into the 50s or late 40s, depending on that maturity look, because we do that quite a bit. So I'm going to take a pause here because I want to dive into this conversation. But before we do, I need all my listeners to once again email us your questions with this topic because this is a really, really good topic. Go to our email at CamiGREGG40@gmail.com. That's CamiGREGG40@gmail.com. Tweet us. Please go over to our Twitter at CAMI_GREGG and also shoot us just a personal direct message on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram, please. And it's at CAMI.GREGG, CamiGREGG. Okay, I'm going to get back to the topic, but I had to get you guys that information because I really want to hear your feedback in this topic, okay? Do the more we age in life, the expectations of our behavior automatically make someone judge or place us in this category of how we should display ourselves or place ourselves into action, by the level of age. Remember, that's where we're supposed to be full development. That's what they define it at. So the more we age in life, the expectations of our behaviors from others are pretty much given. Okay? Stay with me. So I want to go back to the example of the grandma. None of us would think grandma or the grandmother would be an ex-murderer. The grandmother's not a child molester, would give false advice or be in the center of another person's downfall. No. But it happens. Where did we in society automatically assume that grandma is a level of maturity that we all must achieve to be? Okay? I want to hear this. That they live a life of expectancy, that they have, quote unquote, I'm going to put quote unquote, lived, okay? That they're expected to display or be seen as this. And because they now become this trustworthy individual to give sound advice, to care for others' children, our children. Every time someone, even when someone, let's go back to just our societal environment. If we're at work, oh, I'm a grandmother. Oh, can you keep my kids? Immediately, we put them in a babysitter's position. We immediately give them the status of caring caregiver. Hey, what if this happened to me? Can you give me some advice? Automatically. So, y'all know what we need to do. We got to pull out some measurement tools, okay? We've got to when it comes to this, because you guys ever heard the saying that good things come in threes? Okay. So, this exercise is called thrice. The thrice of the WNBA, okay? So W is wisdom, M is maturity, and A is age. Okay, so you guys gotta get into this exercise of just getting our little ears hitting to the pavement so we can dissect this, okay? So let's go to wisdom. Wisdom is earned, it is not a gravitation tool, okay? So let me go through that and let me tell you why. Wisdom is earned whether one got it from bought sense, okay, book sense, common sense, and my favorite, street sense. Now, those are the four senses of life. Okay, we will dissect that in another topic, but back to the main topic today. Okay, so when people seek out advice or sought wisdom, it's because one has proven themselves to be wise. Okay, it is an earned potential that has a visual deposits over the years. Okay, life has taught that an individual learns from the four senses, and I'm saying sense as in SENSES, okay, they've acquired to have wisdom. One has learned to take direction without rejecting it, listen without feedback, and lastly, seek a higher power above oneself. Okay? Listen to this. This is where wisdom comes from. So when I pray, I go to God. I seek God because I know my wisdom comes from God, not from me. Okay? I know that the higher power of Jesus Christ Himself, and this is my beliefs, I'm going to derive my wisdom from Him. Okay? That is almost the status that we give our elderly right here that walk among us, that they almost are on the level of the closest thing we will get to God while we're here on earth, or that wisdom. Is that necessarily a status that we should be putting them on? Okay, now remember the character we're giving here is grandma. Remember that personal warm feeling is grandma. I got to get to grandma's house. Okay, so next, let's go to the next word. Let's go to maturity. Okay. So when we get to maturity, remember they said that it's that development, that status. Okay. We all know that we have seen a 6-year-old, and we've communicated to them that wow, you're very mature for your age, and how they carry themselves, how they speak, and we can even say you're not like the average 6-year-old. We say that quite a bit. You're not like the average 6-year-old. We do that quite a bit. Okay. Next, we do is we even look at teenagers and their physical stature, and it is similar to that of a full grown man or woman. And we're just being real. They look more mature for their age. So when we see that, and that they're full development, and that's what Google threw around for their age. This means their stature doesn't necessarily give them mental clarity or a higher level. They just physically, their physique make them look like we've seen it where we've met a 12-year-old that looks 22 or 18. Maybe they're taller, or maybe they develop faster. That alone can give you maturity and physical stature. Okay. But let's break down having a conversation where someone, you can talk to them and they're 18 and they're like this, and that, because their life experiences have forced them into to develop beyond their years, if that's the case. So we know when someone who, let's just put it out there, is a teenage mom, maybe they had to be thrown into adult situations more than probably someone, the average 22-year-old, who, let's say, their life is different, where they're off, they're finishing college, they're having a good time, they don't have children. So that alone, when we look at the maturity status, can be different because what one experiences with that individual. Okay, so we're gonna go back to grandma. Okay, so looking at grandma, her girlfriends may see her like it's this big goofball, but I see my grandmothers as absolute queens, something I aspire to be. I do give them this level of maturity, and also I give them this status of achievement that I want to be. But maturity can't be put in a box. It's a general overlay, and it's what one should be, but it's also in the eye of the beholder. The beholder sets the whole tone of where the maturity status expectations level should be. Okay, we can't hurry up to we can't be in a hurry. Let me say that. We can't be in a hurry to grow one up in the expectations of maturity, because of what we think or feel they should be. Hey, you're still jumping rope. This is just an example. We know this. You're Aren't you too old to jump rope? As if we've set guidelines on the standards of where somebody should be in their life. Okay, here we go again. You can't draw cartoons forever. You need to grow up and get a real job. By whose standards? Who have set these standards? Because we've all heard these similar phrases. We've heard these phrases several times, probably still hearing it, that um, that maturity, the maturity forum, as a human being, we push um, our own agendas, our own ideologies onto others, especially our loved ones, almost as a form of protection in some cases, because we don't want them to have to go through the dreaded sense. Remember our senses? SENSE of bought sense. Okay, no one wants to have where that individual have to pay a price, go out, get a life T-shirt, get some keychains. You ever heard they bought a T-shirt, got a keychain? I'm not coming back from there. Never going back there again. Okay, we don't want that individual to go through it, or even go through it because we've went through it. If we've had horrible relationships, it's a protection of saying, hey, don't go down that road. I've been down that road, or I've seen others go down that road. Okay, so now let's move on to the last thrice. Okay, so age. Yeah, okay, you remember the saying that one age is like a fine wine. It's actually seen as a compliment. Okay, so making wine is a prime example of how one ages. It gracefully. Okay, and the more wine ages, no matter how old that bottle is, it's still easy on the eyes. It's sweet to the taste, and when you go to a wine tasting, oh, this is just this great Chardonnay, and this bottle was created in da da da, and this is a 30-year-old wine bottle, and everyone gets excited. And even when people look at the date, they're like, ugh, that's not going to satisfy my need at this time when we're talking about wine. Okay, so a lot of times that's actually how our advice we're seeking, or it's been given to us. A lot of times it's sweet to the taste because we needed it, or bittersweet, either way. But it's something that satisfies us at that time. It's a trustworthy person. Keep in mind that's why we're talking about in Grandma We Trust, because it is a need to have that security of I'm seeking counsel. I'm going to someone who appears to have life together or achieved a status of expectations in my eyes. Keep in mind, all of this is from our eyes. This isn't, like we stated, this is in the eyes of the beholder. I behold this and I'm seeing that, man, oh, okay. So when we get back to age is something that we take for granted, yet it's given to us generously. Every time we see that big cake come out for our birthday, and the candles get bigger and bigger around that, and everybody's like, "You're oh my goodness, you're blessed to see it. You're celebrating with families or yourself." However, the joy of an individual who's able to see another year is humbling. We see it all the time where actors and celebrities, they go on and they come, um, they transition to from life to death. Let me say that. And we're like, man, they were too young to go, or oh man, look at their life. We can name some celebrities, i.e., Cicely Tyson. That is just incredible. But then we can go into an other aspect of Whitney Houston, or even the late great DMX. When we see all those expectations of age, that is where we're posing the question of how, the one we did in the beginning, that does someone's age automatically give them a winning status of maturity? Even with the three celebrities that we named, we're making the assumption that they're wise. We've put that out there. They are wise. Okay? Even when we look into the status of the two I named who were in the grandparent status. But we have to realize that that's nowhere near the truth. Yeah, like age doesn't necessarily mean that the individual is mature by the definition that we give them. Maturity, again, is something that is molded. Okay, it's a process. So when we as individuals seek or grow into maturity, just like the wine, it's fined, it's refined, it's all of that. It's, as we said, it's a process. It's a facial representation. Which is how we got the facial representation of the grandma figure, which is the key display for one to seek wisdom. Okay. All right. That's it, guys. Okay. Just remember that I'm signing off today. It's your good girlfriend, CamiGREGG, and I just want to thank you guys for tuning in every time we post. Email us your questions, as I always say, at CamiGregg 40 @gmail.com. Go to our Instagram at CAMI.GREGG. Tweet us. Go over to the lovely Twitter. Our Twitter is at CAMI_GREGG. And also, of course, I'll be reading your questions. I give you a shout out. I've actually got a suggestion for our next topic from our previous listeners, so stay out there. I will be giving you a shout out in the next podcast. Also, just make sure that you check out our sister organization, the Safety Net Youth Services. Go to our website at www.thesafetynetyouthservices.net. We accept donations. Give us some referrals, and just follow us. We also have a blog at CamiGRegg.wordpress. Please check out. We post. We love for you just to kind of work with us, be with us, and I just want you guys to be safe out there. There's so much going on in this world, and just remember that a helping hand may be the only hand someone get fed from. All right, bye, peace and love.